Okay, so the boys Diabolical. Um, how were you introduced to the boys, and what were your first thoughts about that whole world?
I was introduced to the boys at Comic Con, and this would have been like in 2018, maybe. I don't know. The last 4 or 5 years are a big blurry smear for all of us, aren't they? But I ended up hosting their panel for season 2 at SDCC, and this would have been like right before COVID, and just watched all of season 1 all the way through, binged it, loved the world. And then for season 2, and this is like kind of in the middle of lockdown, ended up doing an after show, a discussion show for them on Amazon Prime called Inside the Boys. So I knew the world pretty well. And then Simon Raggiopa came to me and said, I hope I said his last name right. I'm like literally the worst person in the world, but I think I can speak Italian. And we're thinking, and it was actually Eric Kripke who came to me and said, we're doing this animated series. Would you like to be a part of it? And I was like, hell yeah. And they said, you want to write an episode? So, and Eric and I have become friendly over the years, and I love that world, and the larger world of the supernatural, which I've been a fan of for a long time. So I was really excited about it, and they said just pitch us some ideas, and they responded to one, and we were off to the races.
Yeah, the boys is a very special superhero world. How do you go about? How do you approach concocting a story for this animated series?
Well, for me, I mean, I agree. It's a very unique world. Obviously, really edgy and kind of like very exploratory in its themes. I really love one thing I really love about The Boys is it really explores the nexus between kind of flawed human beings and these like extraordinary abilities and what like normal human beings would do if they could do extraordinary things. And I think the old superhero canon was that superheroes are kind of universally good people. They do good because good is good. They don't have any flaws. They don't have any frailties. They never falter. And this new world is about people with crazy ass powers that typically use them to advance their own interests. And there really are no purely good characters out there, which I think is probably a more accurate description of the human condition. So I really wanted to explore what it's like for superheroes when they're not being super. They're home, they got to make dinner, the kids got to finish their homework, their relationship's falling apart. What does that mean for someone who's still got to go out there and save the world? And also within the Vought universe, we all know that most of that superhero stuff is made up anyway. It's all a big ploy to get people to buy Vought lunchboxes. So we just wanted to explore the commerciality of it and the humanity of it, and hopefully you'll find some comedy there.
Hopefully, no, definitely. Yeah. So, what is the most crucial component of any boy story to you?
To me, it's really the humanity. I'm trying to think of I can't think of this guy's name, but in the very beginning of season 1 of The Boys, and I can't remember his name, but he died with a bomb up his ass. Someone on this call can remind me what that character's name was. And what's that? Translucent. Thank you. When Translucent died, but no, the scene when he's in the bathroom and he's eavesdropping, right? Like that's really what you would do if you were invisible. You would not run around saving little kids. You would not run around trying to improve geopolitical situations. You would be like watching people shower and like eating candy bars in the supermarket and like masturbating on the bus. That's probably what most people would use their superpower for. And to me, that's the interesting part of The Boys, is just exploring when I say our humanity, that sounds like I'm saying something lofty. I mean, our humanness, our frailty, our narcissism, our selfishness. It's a real meditation on the incapacity of the human spirit rather than the capacity of it.
I would definitely be eating candy bars at the grocery store.
Oh, I would just be eating like microwave burritos at 7-Eleven, like all day long. I mean, I don't have to fit in my clothes. No one can see me. I never have to wear clothes again.
Is that what you say inspired Nubian versus Nubian for the most part anyway? Or what was it that inspired it?
Yeah, it was that. I mean, I pitched them a few different ideas. Honestly, I can't remember the other ideas that I pitched. But I wanted to look at, what happens when superheroes get home. And probably the character in the episode that was me was Maya, not Nubia, because I was obsessed with comic books when I was a kid. I was obsessed with superheroes and genre movies and explosions. And I had that kind of like starry-eyed idea about that world. But my parents also divorced when I was super young, like 10. And, you know, I think a lot of kids are like, I was scarred. I was like, well, you know, they gave it a try. And I love Maya's really pragmatic here, when she kind of tries to engineer this kind of like superhero parent trap situation and it doesn't work. She's like, listen, how can I exploit this situation for my own ends? So she's a really wily kid. She's self-sufficient. She's pragmatic, you know what I mean? She's not like, you know, she's not wounded. She's a normal kid who's got her shit together. And she's my favorite. I mean, I love all the characters in my episode, but she's a little badass.
She is. So it's fair to say that comic book fans will instantly see the resemblance of Nubian versus Nubian's supe couple to Storm and Black Panther from the Marvel comics, which was an iconic comic book pair. Was that meant as an homage to a favorite superhero marriage, or was there something else you were trying to show or say or use it for?
You know, the entire boys universe is emulative of other universes, and meant to be, you know, satire, or you know, inverse universe, bizarro world, however you want to call it. I mean, like, very explicitly, these characters are meant to pull threads from, you know, the DC and the Marvel universe. So it was not intentional on my part, but the origins of these characters obviously have their, you know, kind of their DNA in these other universes, because this was really about turning those universes on their heads, right? And talking about, you know, I think the kernel at the core of the boys' world is, would, you know, who does good all the time? Nobody can. It's impossible. So when these people start to falter, what happens? You know what I mean? Would you be, you know, stopping runaway buses, or would you be flying to an island to have sex with everybody? Probably you'd be doing the latter. Maybe you'd save a couple people and then you go off to Fuck Island, which I think is what it's called. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't intentional on my part, but, you know, all these characters have their roots in this kind of larger superhero world.
What did you take away from Nubian versus Nubian as a story that you'd want to explore more in future work?
You know, the kind of, other than Maya being just a rattle kid, the stuff that I really enjoyed was Groundhog, you know, just this kind of regular old company man who's just doing his best to, you know, make it to pension. And, you know, he looks like a badass when he's in the streets, but like at home, he like can't open a can of soda and his place is a wreck because he keeps putting holes in the walls. And there was a longer piece that we had to cut for time where he just talks about the fact that, you know, he says this in the episode that his parents got a divorce too, but, you know, he goes, look, they tried, but, you know, they fought all the time and they had a kid who kept putting, you know, holes in the walls of their trailer and they gave it their best shot. And he has this beautiful kind of sweet pathos to him. He's really sympathetic, you know what I mean? As frustrated as he is, because he, you know, like, again, every time he goes to pee, he risks like damaging himself permanently. He had a real sweetness and a real kind of kindness in his heart. And I loved him and I loved his relationship with Maya. So I probably spent some more time with, you know, poor old Groundhog and his weird house slippers.
I would definitely love to see that, because that definitely raised some questions.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a nice guy. He's just stuck in the house and he doesn't have a house. Like, what's he gonna do? I was just thinking, like, when the DoorDash guy comes by with a burrito, he's got a hole in the house so Groundhog can eat it. You know what I mean? I'll give you an extra $5 if you stay until I finish.
Oh dear. What's a favorite character moment in Nubian versus Nubian that you can tease our readers with?
What can I give away? I don't know. I mean, you know, the thing is, it's a short piece, so anything I give away is going to be pretty deep into the story. I will just say that, like, you know, all these different episodes of Diabolical are all really different in approach and tone, you know, everything, the animation style, they're all, which I think is really exciting. I think people are going to really enjoy the variation in animation styles and narrative approaches. This one is really grounded. I mean, it's really grounded in emotion. And that is what I really love about it. I mean, you're going to get everything I love out of this world, which is lots of superhero action and fighting and comedy, but there's also some real emotion in this one. You know, there's some pathos there. And it ends, I mean, the ending I think is pretty dope.